continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering.
I am Mike, back with the mic in my hand. Got a message for all you useless wordsmiths. Well, I've been accused of being inflammatory by all of these PC punks who just looking to make a story. But they are the ones who should be apologizing for all of that boring rhetoric and liberal proselytizing. When all I was trying to do was give the president advice so Paula Corbin-Jones wouldn't turn into Donna Rice. Bubba's got a reputation for acting hot to trot. Doing a 90s version of Camelot. Not suffice to say, my remarks are considered risque, causing Judy Woodruff a modicum of dismay. What all these bleeding heart columnists don't appear to know is that they aren't listening to your mother's morning show. They so uptight, stuck up, suck up till you chuck up, but sitting right beside you just waiting for you to screw up. So in retrospect, if you had asked me so, I should have laid up Paula Jones and Pimp Slap Shapiro. Pimp Slap the Mo. For the nasty things he said, Pimp Slap the Mo. Smack him upside the head, Pimp Slap the Mo. Pimp Slap the Mo. Pimp Slap the Mo. Cause he said I wasn't chic, Pimp Slap the Mo. For his hideous critique, Pimp Slap the Mo. Cause he a journalistic geek, Pimp Slap the Mo. Pimp Slap the Mo. Pimp Slap the Mo.
How many women do you currently have now, Fred? Who you run in and out of there? And shoot numbers 1 through 3.
Yeah. That you're not paying for.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
You know, if somebody wants to beat the Cowboys, they go out and spend millions of dollars and buy the team to do it. I mean, and then claim the coaches had something to do with it.
Well, shut up. What a sore loser. You're a dork, John.
They won the game.
They won the... What's the matter with you?
They didn't change the team since Friday when you were predicting that they were going to win.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Bernard's a jerk. You leave Bernard alone.
Hey, go Browns.
Fred's coming up.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Today, more than ever, you need...
Now Media Watch, an unsporting, frequently imprecise hypercriticism of figures involved in our national discourse. Here now, the Dean of Broadcast Journalists, Walter Cronkite.
Permit me to trim the fat and cut right to the core of today's issue.
Good.
We're burdened as a media-dependent people by certain individuals who we simply should no longer be required to bear.
Right.
Television's most recent Super Bowl event provided prominent cases in point. Here, then, in the view of this revered old reporter, some of the more glaring examples of media figures whose day has passed. Persons who should just get out. I begin today with Connie Chung, as she has ascended, or descended, depending upon your point of view, to a new prominence. Connie, you're a newswoman, so here's a bulletin. You're over. Dan can't stand you. Eric Over can't stand you. A tolerant public that once thought you were appealing in an ornamental costume jewelry sort of way would now like to see you on camera on fire. Since the infamous Gingrich interview, Miss Chung's ratings have fallen faster than, well, that Chinese research rocket the other day, to draw an unfortunate analogy.
Yeah.
Her ratings have plummeted both on the evening news, where she clings to Dan Rather like a disease-bearing tick, and on her own program, Eye to Eye, which, in view of the ratings collapse, CBS is thinking of retitling Eye to Planter's Wart. Connie, I only have your best interests at heart.
Yeah.
If you don't go now, today, in 3 months, you'll be relegated to a show on America's Talking, interviewing people like your husband. Please, just get out.
Yeah.
Next, Sally Struthers. I fully realize Miss Struthers is a fine person.
Yeah.
There's no argument. She's a humanitarian, an educator, and about a size 28. Jesus. She had a second-tier role on All in the Family. Then I'm afraid the evidence will show she ate the family. Sally, you're just not credible wandering through a field of pipe cleaner people when you look like you just consumed the entire output of the National Death by Chocolate Derby. And by the way, no one wants to become a radiator systems technician, a kitchen sink slop basin analyst, a demolition container recycling adjuster, or any other position on that list of clinical depression causal factors. Please, as with Ms. Chung, just get out. And with that, we turn our attention to Susan Lucci. Ms. Lucci, the reason you've never won an Emmy is simply stated this. As an actor, you make O.J. Simpson look like Sir John Gielgud. You're not going to get an Emmy. You're not going to get a complimentary coffee mug from the Screen Actors Guild. You're not going to get anything, ever. The only thing we wish you would get is out. And stop dressing like you were trying out for Baywatch. The only way you could possibly qualify is if there was a part for a piece of driftwood. And finally, to my old colleague, Brent Musburger, host of ABC Super Bowl pregame. Brent, to quote our old friend Howard Cosell, I'm only telling it like it is. You are just horrid. You don't suck, Brent. You implode. For God's sake, end the madness. And please, just go. Stop. Not even bowling, Brent. Nothing. Just get out. For Media Watch, this is Walter Cronkite. Thank you and good night.
And here he is after a busy morning on a Today Show and so on. We blew a national radio program off to talk to a bunch of shut-ins and senior citizens. Tim Russert, good morning, Mr. Russert.
Good morning. Now that the threat of war is over, I did have time to look at this Esquire article.
Yeah.
And the picture is particularly striking. It looks like a Tucson's wax museum parody of the American Gothic, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, are you trying out for the World Wrestling Federation?
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Well, that picture was actually taken in a room in my house. So.
Would you wear this outfit in to see Bob Dole?
Yes, I go ask Bob Dole what I wore in to see him.
Barney Frank, I understand, but not Bob Dole.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Imus in the morning, 2020 Sports.
Now, Messier puts to the 23 to the hour. Tim Russert, Washington Bureau Chief, NBC News, and the host of the hideous Meet the Press. He's coming up.
We've been together way back when. Sometimes I never want to see you again. But I want you to know, after all these years, you're still the one I want whispering in my ear. You're still the one I want to talk to in bed. Still the one that turns my head. We're still having fun, and you're still the one. Imus in the morning.
Hey, Bubba, what are you watching?
The Super Bowl, Beavis.
This sucks. The game's a blowout.
I'm just watching it for the commercials, Beavis. They're the best.
I like the beer bottles who play football.
Whoa, wait a minute. Is that Mario Cuomo?
That fat mafia dude who used to be governor in New York?
Yeah, it is. That's him. He's eating corn chips.
Who's that old mini pearl chick with him?
Ann Richards, Mario Cuomo and Ann Richards are doing a Doritos commercial.
So, like, what's the big deal?
What's the big deal? The image of the Democratic Party isn't bad enough. We have to have these two losers selling their souls for a bag of nacho chips? Boy, Beavis, this really burns me up.
Why? Is it like one of those unethical deals?
No, I'm just jealous because that fat goofball and his hillbilly girlfriend get to make big bucks doing a TV commercial.
Poor Ann Richards. She can't help it. She's got, like, a Dorito in her mouth.
I wish there was a way that I could get an endorsement deal. Maybe get a sponsor for my 96 campaign tour. You know, like Budweiser did with the Stones.
Good idea. Because, like, I don't think you're going to get the Democratic Party to sponsor it.
Oh, bite me, Beavis.
Yeah. Dunkin' Donuts. Here.
Fucking losers.
Beavis and Bubba here on the IBC Morning Program for 17 minutes till the hour. Coming up, Tim Russert. This is on that honky-tonk and whatever it is.
Before you accuse me, take a look at yourself.
Turn your radio up here.
Before you accuse me, take a look at yourself. Just I've been running with other women, but I don't love nobody else. I called your mama 3 or 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
Honky Tonk and Blues album on MCA. It's available at record stores all over America. This is Delbert on a harp from the old Bruce Chanel record. Loaded many years they go. Good God Almighty.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
You need will be signed for the hearing impaired by Heather Whitestone and sung by television and recording star, my wife, Kathy Lee Gifford. And 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station of New York Knicks basketball.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
Now leave it to you, Dove, huh? Dove Kramer, thanks very much. The plaintive wail of one Julia, huh? In the background. How you doing, folks? Ed Coleman here with you. I guess my first show as a new papa. Welcoming Julia into the world yesterday, and let's see, I guess 138 yesterday, so 24, 28, what do you say, Joe, about 28, 29 hours so far, is that it?
We're about 29, 28 and a half.
Okay, something like that, I'll tell you.
Have mercy. I've been sending the flashback.
All right, here now with comment and observation on headline issues of the day. Imus and Washington's senior political analyst, Richard M. Nixon.
Yes, thank you. A privilege to join you as always. I was in the morning. well, let's see. I'm not certain of the time, but it's early, I know. So, has Bubber's foreign policy done a 180 in the past 20 minutes or so? What's on the old voracious superpower menu today? The dry Tortugas? Cayman Islands, maybe? Hey, I know a good one the Bilster could invade with minimum risk. 26 miles across the sea. Santa Catalina is waiting for the 10th Mountain Division out of Fort Drum. Go in there with the 86th Airborne and tell those Southern California cops how to behave in a more professional manner. Hey, man? Well, okay, issue 1. What they call Operation Restore Democracy, and what I call Operation Try to Restore Credibility, you know? But by this, throwing the mother of all beach parties in Haiti? I don't think so. The White House, if you've noticed, acts wounded, J.D., wondering why Democrats are distancing themselves from Mr. Clinton. Well, let's check some headlines and see whether we might pick up some clues. Huh?
That's a good idea.
Let's see. Haitian police crush rally as U.S. troops watch. Carter says he's ashamed of Clinton policy.
Oh, good.
Aristide says Clinton sucks. Clinton urged to abandon health bill. White House shuffles can't suck enough staff. Clinton stands foursquare behind Playboy Agriculture Secretary. HUD Secretary Cisneros' days as an adulterer bite him in the butt. Well, and yikes, what's this? Quote, many Democratic candidates steering clear of Clinton. Well, let me just read on from that one for a moment.
Okay.
Let's see. Democrats who just 2 years ago either campaigned actively for Clinton or embraced him as the best hope to broaden the party's base of support have now staged a run on crucifixes to thrust toward the president if the pant load gets within a congressional district's distance of him. I'm asking you, J.D., would you want that waffling wuss draping one of those big old flabby arms around you in some campaign stop?
Well,
excuse me, Gary Hart, but I don't think guess so. If I'm a Democrat, I'd rather see Lorena Bobbitt coming at me with O.J.'s knife than see Clinton waddling my way. Anywho, some issues within issue 1 today. Do you know what mission creep is?
Yeah, but we're revising our policy allowing our soldiers to intervene in Haitian-on-Haitian violence.
No, you moron. Mission creep is Madeleine Albright, our UN ambassador, who said September 10th that Cedros had to leave the country, and that was that. Period. End of story. Right. Another matter. That dog and pony show at the Pentagon the other day. Namby-Pamby Perry, Shifty Shally Caswheely, and all the rest of them in that stomach-turning swoon to the loon as they bowed before Aristide. Yeah. There was only one thing wrong, and I believe you have alluded to it. The cannon were pointed the wrong way. So, where do we go from here? Yeah. Well, the Beltway grapevine, J.D., is that with Aristide supposedly promising not to run again, and with Jimmy Carter having sold out our the thugs must go position, that one Raul Cedros is being seriously urged by close supporters to run for president of Haiti in 1996. Right. Ultimate irony, eh? What? Clinton's last year as president could be Raul Cedros' first. I'm telling you, he should have just left well enough alone, Ivo, and not changed his rules of engagement beyond, hey, baby, you make my knees knot. Shut up. Rough look through the thick scope today, but very precise, I'm sure you will agree. From Dick Nixon, himself a late former president of the United States. Good.
Well, you know I can be found sitting all alone. If you can come around, at least the telephone. Don't be too hard, it's true. Baby, I made you mad with something I said. Please forget my past. The future's bright ahead. Don't be you are I don't want no other love. Baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. Don't stop thinking of me. Don't make me feel this way. Come on over and love me. You know I want you to stay. Don't be too hard, it's true. Let's walk down to the preacher. Let's say, hey, I do. And then I know you'll want me. And you know I want you to. Don't be too hard, it's true. I don't want no other love. Baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. Don't be cruel. Too hard, it's true. Don't be cruel. Too hard, it's true. Don't need no other love. Baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. Don't stop thinking of me. Don't make me feel this way. Come on over and love me. You know I want you to stay. Don't be too hard, it's true. Why should we be apart? Baby, you know I love you cross my heart. Don't be cruel. Too hard, it's true. 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 I don't want no other love. Baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. If you can't come around, at least please the telephone.
Boy, he's talking. Fantastic. I went back 4 nights straight, man. I went back 4 nights straight and heard that guy do it. He said, he'd soften up, he'd say, I don't. He'd shake his head and say, I don't want no other love. Baby, it's just you I. He'd say, well then I don't want to stop the on the table looking at him. Get him all. Get him all.
Mobile Fan Highway Patrol.
Yeah, Bison. Happy Beauty. Flashback.
Andy Rooney this week has found himself thinking about sexual mutilations. Andy?
Some subject, huh? Are you following the bouncing bobbits of Manassas, Virginia? I've heard of coitus interruptus, but this is ridiculous.
Right.
If you're not following the story, you're out of step with about half the planet. I don't know about you, but I don't think I'll ever be able to look at Julia Child hovering over a summer sausage with a cleaver in her hand in quite the same way again. In fact, I now find myself unconsciously giving the knife rack in the Rooney kitchen a pretty wide berth these days. And please, forget about asking me to carve the turkey. How many men across the land do you suppose are thinking similar thoughts? Looking at their spouses with just a trace of apprehension as they prepare to retire for the night. Three things I want on my nightstand now as I prepare to drift off to sleep. Oh, sure, a glass of water, but also the paramedics number programmed into my speed dial, and a sewing kit, just in case I should awake to find my significant other easing out of the room, clutching my thunder mallet. Kind of brings a whole new connotation to the term bird in the hand, doesn't it? And not one I particularly favor. Interesting pillow talk, though. Dear, where are you going with that? Oh, you felt like a sandwich and we're out of Spam. Oh, well, bon appetit. We can't know what really went on in the household of John and Lorena that fateful night to precipitate this, shall we say, slice of life. But for my money, there's just not a lot that could have happened that would justify getting your cut off. Emasculation seems somehow so darn judgmental. And horrors. What if it should become the remedy of choice among the fairer sex? Could be there's a chance of that happening. More than a few women seem to think what Lorena Bobbitt did was little more than a monkey shine. They snicker about declaring this National Impotency Awareness Week. And Lorena, Miss Loppingshire, 1993. What a hoot, eh? Well, pardon me, potato-peeling Paula, but I don't think so. This is one curmudgeon who ain't laughing, even if the gals at Now and similar agencies are. And by the way, in view of all this, change that now to just ow. Once the court cases are resolved, have you considered where the Bobbitts go from here? I can't say for sure, Lorena, but I'd be willing to bet that it's going to be tough to meet guys after you've cut one's off. Maybe Renee Richards might give you a tumble. And for John, well, dating in a full suit of armor is such a hindrance, isn't it? Who knows? Maybe they'll be able to, you should pardon the expression, patch things up and look back on this one day and laugh. Crazy kids, anyway. In the meantime, their little saga will continue to have a perverse fascination, and I'll continue to watch it while involuntarily crossing right leg over left. So let's leave it right there, in old Prince William County, Virginia, 30 miles west of Washington, where women are women and men sleep on their stomachs with one eye open and pine for the good old days. But all that happened was she went home to mother. Say, if there's any kind of monetary settlement out of this thing, would you call it severance pay?
All right, here live from El Paso now. My brother Fred Imus. Good morning, Fred.
Take the suit back to Kmart. That's where he got it. You got it.
Did you see me on Letterman?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Do you think I'm too
You
thin?
were on so late, I thought you were on Pat O'Brien's show.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
You didn't hear about the controversy about the check skater, did you?
No, Fred, I didn't.
Here we go.
Well, they found out it was actually Lorena Bobbitt.
Oh, really?
The skate for the check team.
Uh-huh.
And they didn't know because they made her change her name
Right.
to Lorena Cut Your Cock Off.
Wow.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
At Home Federal, they know the special.
Hey, fella, what are you watching?
The Super Bowl, baby.
This sucks. The game's a blowout.
I'm just...
The morning program, my fat friend Rush Limbaugh. Good morning, Rush.
Friends, are you looking for an alternative to the mind-numbing drone of the O.J. trial? Tired of the same lame liberal media? Do you find ABC, NBC, and CBS nothing more than a PA for the FDR-MO? Want some stimulating, right-minded programming?
Yeah.
Then tune your cable box to the conservative channel, the National Empowerment Television Network. Mondays, they were just a simple down-home country family until Nudie struck pay dirt. So he loaded up the truck and he moved to D.C. Ma, Pa, and Sister Butch, the Capitol Hillbillies. Then then it's the hit medical drama about a group of female doctors and their daily struggle to keep the women's movement on life support. ERA. That patient's terminal, wouldn't you agree, Dr. Poglia? Tuesday nights, it's America's favorite fix-it man renovating our government. Newt Gingrich hammers more than nails with that gavel of his in House Improvement. Then, he's the President of the United States. She's his wacky wife, who doesn't just want to be in the show, she wants to run the whole thing herself. Life's a bitch, then you marry one. You got some splaining to do. I love Hillary. Wednesdays, it's the heartwarming series that oozes family values. Children of color, born out of wedlock to welfare mothers, all just trying to get by in a federally run orphanage. They'll tug at your heartstrings and your purse strings on pickaninny fences. Do we have bilingual programming? Por supuesto, of course. After all, isn't the United States fast on its way to becoming the second largest Spanish-speaking country in the world? And what does the frijole patrole like more than anything else? Soap operas and game shows. So every afternoon, share the hopes and fears, triumphs and struggles, laughter and tears of Enrique Mendoza and his rapidly growing family of 47 in their one-bedroom apartment in East L.A. All my illegals. Then watch Mexican nationals use paper profits to gain more financial aid on the 20,000 peso pyramid scam. And spin the wheel of bailouts. Quiero comprar un vowel, Paco. Fridays, it's back-to-back military madness. First, spend 30 minutes with a women's combat unit. The laughs are infectious in foxholes. Then watch what happens when the House Majority Leader is drafted, then given the command of a ragtag platoon of homosexual soldiers. There's something swishy about Dick Army's Army. Pink Helmets, starring Barney Frank. Tune in, turn on, take charge. The National Empowerment Television Network. We're going to the dogmas. Liberals are just like commies. You can't tell them apart. Think they're so progressive when they're all just big bleeding hearts. Tax the hard workers to give money to parasites that they never have to repay. Tell illegal aliens it's quite all right to be on welfare from cradle to grave. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be liberals. Don't let them start programs for social reform. Be narrow-minded to those who don't conform. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be liberals. Cause economy crunches with all their free lunches. They're giving the country away. Liberals like government handouts and hidden agendas. Like dropping trow in hotel rooms with girls of the night. They all feel guilty because they are so privileged and want to give it all up to the hopelessly needy. So if you don't want your young kids being left out, see that they stay to the right. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be liberals. They love homos and Negroes and Hebrews and such. They run from the rich, think that we have too much. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be liberals. Cause economy crunches with all their free lunches. They're giving the country away. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be liberals. Don't let them start programs for social reform. Be narrow-minded to those who don't conform. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be liberals. Cause Bubba and Hillary are both prime examples, and they're giving our country away.
Please say hi to Vince Malamuth, who's going to play organ with us.
Morning. 2020 20 Sports.
Mike Shanahan will have full control of football operations.
Dial, this is WIN.
Good. 43 WCBS News Time.
Hello, you're on WABC. Hello, you're on Hello? Anybody there?
Imus in the morning. Hey, Bubba, guess what? I got a job.
That's great, Beavis. I'm proud of you. What kind of job did you get? A position as a congressional page?
Nah, I'm fry boy at Burger World.
Cool. Free food.
Yeah. And I make $4.25 an hour.
$4.25 an hour? That's minimum wage?
Yeah. So if I work 40 hours a week, after taxes, I could have $100.
That's a travesty, Beavis. I can't understand why this country doesn't value the labor of the working class.
Probably because those illegal Mexican dudes are willing to work for $2 an hour. Anyways, how come you're so interested in minimum wage?
Because that's what I may be making here in a couple of years.
So what about those Mexican dudes?
I'm going to try and bail out their economy, Beavis. It's important that we help our Chicano friends improve their quality of life.
Cool.
I also don't want Cancun to go to sea. Spring break is coming up, you know. Ted Kennedy's recommended a few places for tequila shooters and wet t-shirt contests.
Figures he'd know where to find the best tequila shooters.
Figures he'd know where to find a wet t-shirt.
Breaking the law.
Repugnant to Beavis and Bubba here in the Imus Morning program. It's 12 minutes now till the hour. Britt Hume, the White House correspondent. With dozens of new radio formats and hundreds of new television stations, there's never been
15 years ago, if the shoe was on the other foot, the black person, or 30 years ago, black person's not getting the job, the white person's going to get the job. If the black person was better, he still wouldn't get the job.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Hey, everybody, this is
The hard cap to me. You would say this, what I just wrote down here is a soft cap. It is a format. Come on, see you tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Adios.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Phoenix, Body, and that's what's happening. This is John Minko with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Knicks basketball.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
6:05 on the Fan. Good evening, everyone. Ed Coleman here with you. We'll take you right up until Ranger hockey in Pittsburgh tonight against the Penguins. The Rangers try to avenge one of their 4 losses thus far this year against the Pittsburgh team, which beat them 3-2 last Wednesday at Madison Square Garden. Coming up in a little while, Phil Simms, ex-Giant quarterback now with ESPN, is going to join us, and we'll kick around a little football, the Super Bowl, and what's going to happen in the offseason.
Massachusetts Senator Edward M. Kennedy, man, was trying to convince Democrats not to, quote, become pale carbon copies of Republicans. Kennedy urged people to remember what the GOP's pro-business stance had gotten them in the past.
So my advice to Republicans is to make sure there's water in the pool before they leap off their pro-business, anti-regulation diving board.
I don't know, Senator Kennedy, whether I would be employing water references if I were you. Jesus, God, it sounds like this program.
Oh, is that a water reference?
Your radio sounds funny in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
Well, I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't. Go ahead, Imus, you bastard.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Highway Patrol.
Back. Hello, this is Clarence Thomas.
$10 in discounts on everything from CDs to hotels from Entertainment Publications, Inc. That's a lot of stuff, and it can be yours for $24.99 a month.
For more information or the Cellular One dealer nearest you, call 1-800-IMAGINE. New annual activation required. Other charges, early cancellation fee, and restrictions apply. Offer is subject to submission of Cellular One monthly savings vouchers. Coupons made available and fulfilled by Entertainment Publications, Inc. Offer expires March 31st.
Imagine if someone attacked America, stealing your home, your land, your whole way of life. It happened to the first Americans. See how the West was lost on the Discovery Channel and experience the story of Native Americans through their eyes. How the West was lost with special world premiere episodes Tuesday nights at 9 on the Discovery Channel. Explore your world.
Hi, I'm Kim Alexis for Hemorrhoid, the new hemorrhoid medicine made just for women. Hemorrhoids are a special problem for women. I've had 3 babies, so I know. But Hemorrhoid's special aloe-enriched formula is kind to a woman's delicate tissues, yet it's wonderfully effective. Nothing else you can buy stops pain and itch fast and helps shrink swollen tissues and promotes the healing process. No wonder most doctors surveyed would recommend Hemorrhoid's special formula. New Hemorrhoid with the formula made just for women and trusted by doctors. Use as directed.
Good morning, this is Walter Cronkite. And now to contribute to the dumbing down of America, more of the Imus in the Morning program.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Today is a national holiday honoring the late civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. President Clinton will be commemorating this day in ceremonies in Denver, Colorado, and in California, where he will also be inspecting the flood damage. Vice President Al Gore will be in Philadelphia today, marking the occasion by ringing the Liberty Bell. And there will also be a reenactment of Dr. King's historic I Have a Dream speech at the Lincoln Memorial today in Washington. Civil rights leader Jesse Jackson, who was with Dr. King when he died, is now putting some pressure on the state of New Hampshire. That state's legislature has yet to endorse the King holiday.
It is sad that New Hampshire is behind the rest of the country, but interestingly enough, they are number 50 in recognizing Dr. King and number 50 in educational aid to the children. So they're neither recognizing his legacy nor his appeal to make our youth a priority.
New Hampshire, we are told, ranks last in education funding, but first in the nation in SAT scores. Go figure. And Tom Hoyt of our affiliate WHDQ in New Hampshire informs me that the state will, in fact, be observing this holiday following a proclamation by New Hampshire's governor. Schools, banks, and government offices will be closed there today like everywhere else. New Hampshire's legislature, however, has simply refused to make it all official. President Clinton, as we mentioned, will be in California today, where flood damage is estimated at $300 million and counting. Federal disaster teams will be in the state over the next couple of days to help people there apply for disaster relief. 11 people have died in the California flooding in nearby Oregon. 2 people have been killed in rushing floodwaters. A 16-year-old boy died in flooding over the weekend. A weekend of torrential rain has caused flooding problems in North Carolina. The high water blamed for at least 4 deaths there. The flooding washed out bridges and roads, caused mudslides, and downed trees and power lines in several counties in western North Carolina. Among those killed, 3 Boy Scouts. They were swept off a footbridge while on a camping trip. Susan Smith is expected to be arraigned today in Union, South Carolina for the drowning death of her 2 young sons. Smith's attorney, David Bruck, says his client will also learn today that she will face death in the electric chair if she is convicted.
Solicitor Pope informed me over the telephone that he has decided to seek the death penalty against Susan Smith. He told me that he would have her brought to Union for a hearing at 2 o'clock, at which time he would formally serve the paperwork on her in the courtroom.
Smith is expected to enter a plea today in the case. She confessed to strapping her 2 boys into their car seats and then sending them down a boat ramp in her car to a watery grave. The New York Times is reporting this morning that 2 of O.J. Simpson's lawyers are no longer even speaking to one another. Lead defense lawyer Robert Shapiro telling the Times that he and his longtime friend F. Lee Bailey will never be able to have a relationship ever again. Natalie Windsor explains what is behind it all.
Today's New York Times reports that the feud between Shapiro and Bailey began when a defense team investigator concluded that Bailey and his associates had deliberately leaked items to the media over several months, intending to denigrate Shapiro's legal skills and enhance Bailey's role in the case. Bailey and Shapiro had been close friends for years. Bailey hired Shapiro to represent him when he was arrested for drunken driving in 1982, and Shapiro brought Bailey onto the Simpson defense team. But Shapiro says as a result, he will never again speak to Bailey except on urgent matters involving Simpson. Natalie Windsor, Los Angeles.
Opening statements are set to begin this Thursday in the Simpson murder trial. Robert Shapiro telling the Times that the leaks by Bailey.
Have you opened up your credit card statements for the month yet? And that can make anyone a little nervous. If you are having trouble organizing your monthly bills, there's an amazingly easy little software program called Quicken that can make your life a whole lot happier. It can change your life. Quicken eliminates the pain of dealing with your finances. Quicken makes finance planning painless because it shows you where your money goes and exactly how much you have left. And for a lot of people, that means now you can do some things you've always wanted, like get out of debt, take a little nicer vacation, and send your kids to college. You won't be a bit surprised when you find out that Quicken is the best-selling personal finance software in the world. Quicken will help you manage your money better so you can achieve your dreams. You can try Quicken for this limited-time offer of only $9.95. That's right, $9.95. Just call 1-800-553-EASY. That's 1-800-553-EASY. Quicken, 1-800-553-EASY.
At the farthest reaches of the galaxy, she searches. Destined to travel deeper into the universe than any other before her. She's smart, able, ready for action. And her name is Voyager. The United Paramount Network proudly presents Star Trek Voyager.
Welcome aboard, Voyager.
500 years in the future, 70,000 light years off course.
We're on the other side of the galaxy.
A valiant crew and their untested captain must risk everything to find their way back home.
Engage.
The 2-hour world premiere of Star Trek Voyager is coming to Earth on UPN.
Race for impact.
An event so big, it will launch a new television network.
Star Trek Voyager premieres tonight at 8 on UPN 9.
Last year, Saab introduced the new 900S, a car widely heralded as a breakthrough. And that, of course, raised the question of what we would do for a follow-up. This year, we introduce a $299 a month lease on a Saab 900S. $299 a month gets you a car built around the concept of safety, with ABS brakes, dual airbags, and a roof that exceeds government crush standards by 90%. This $299 a month lease also gets you the spirited drive of Saab's high-torque engine, road-hugging suspension, and exceptional stability. Also included are 49 cubic feet of cargo space. This 36-month lease requires an initial payment of $2,649. Total monthly payments equal $10,763. For more details on this and leases on all 900 coupes and sedans, call 800-582-SAAB.
You plan, coordinate, keep on schedule. It's amazing how a vacation can resemble a business trip, but business travelers have an advantage over you weary vacationers. Courtyard by Marriott, the hotel business travelers help design. Fortunately, there's nothing stopping you from enjoying Courtyard's spacious rooms, pool, whirlpool, mini gym. So, at the end of your long day of vacationing, do what smart business travelers do. Stay at Courtyard. Call 800-321-2211. Courtyard, the hotel designed by business travelers.
30 years ago, we promised to take care of each other.
Sure did.
And today, we're taking better care of our health with Ensure.
More than a vitamin supplement, Ensure is a delicious drink with all the nutrients adults need to help stay healthy, active, energetic.
Drink Ensure as a meal or in between. Ensure is recommended #1 by doctors as a source of complete balanced nutrition.
Ensure. To your health.
To our health.
And now there's new Ensure High Protein, low in saturated fat. Use as directed.
Imus in the morning. 2020 Sports. Good morning. This is John Minko.
Here's a pass deep into the end zone. This is a touchdown for San Francisco. With 8 seconds left in the half, Jerry Rice beat his man for 28 yards and a TD.
Jack Buck, CBS Radio. Rice beating Larry Brown. That touchdown, a backbreaker for the Cowboys. Dallas unable to run out the clock prior to the half. It gave San Francisco an extra opportunity, a 31-14 halftime lead. 49er quarterback Steve Young, he wins a big game. He's headed to the Super Bowl. The Niners win the NFC Championship 38-28 over the Cowboys.
I've been in that field for 8 years now, and still gone through all kinds of emotions. You can imagine the uphill battles that have been fought, and it's just a great feeling to wander around and enjoy it with the fans.
This was an uphill climb for the Cowboys from the get-go. Wideout Alvin Harper knows 3 quick turnovers, 21-0 San Francisco early.
You can't get in a groove. You can't get that running game going. You can't throw that 5-7 yard pass here. Throw the dump pass here. Kind of get it going, and because you're trying to rush it, you're trying to throw the ball downfield, trying to make something big happen so you can try to catch up.
But despite the early adversity, the Cowboys hung in there. Emmitt Smith, the pair of Dallas scores.
That's one thing our team definitely have is heart and character. I mean, no matter what the score indicated, for people that were here today and for players in our hearts and in our minds, we know we gave it our best effort to come back.
In fact, if a pass interference call on Deion Sanders has been called.
All right, here's Hargis. Dr. Billy Saul Hargis, God's other son, as in the book by the same name. Dearly beloved, I know you're aware of the biblical mandate that requires us to reach out to the downtrodden, to extend a hand to those caught in one of life's valleys. Yes, to say, let me help you out of the jam you're in. When the vicissitudes of our labor journeys conspire against us and make us say, how the hell did I ever think this was a good idea? And that's why I'm asking you to join today in reaching out to an especially tormented soul. Yes, as though you were Rosie Grimm, I want you to help me in helping out Brother O.J. Simpson. Yes, I know we may despise him. We may desire that he and Johnny Cochran slowly rot in hell. But the Bible instructs that we must also offer him relief and redress. So why, Billy, you say? Well, I'll tell you why, friend. Because that 9-iron into the sandbox alibi is the dumbest f***ing story ever concocted in a court of law. That's why. Who the hell are you trying to Yes, dearly beloved, the dream team has done screwed the juice. It's got to be one way or the other, friends. Think about it. Either the cokehead missing link was asleep, or he was trying to get down and two from the teeter-totter. Or he was studying the video how to ditch a stiletto in Chicago. Well, which was it? Dr. Hargis says we can't leave poor O.J. hanging out there in that kind of legal limbo. No, sir. Because if that Cochran geek thinks somebody's going to roll over for a theory that says in the middle of an arthritis attack so severe he couldn't pick his nose, he was chipping golf balls into a sandbox in the dead of night waiting on the next 727 to O'Hare, then Johnny's actually dumber than his client, if that's possible. So we need your help, faithful comrade. We need you to dream up some sort of that's even remotely plausible. You know, some kind of damn timeline with some charts and stuff. I don't know, maybe something that would show he was out beating some poor slob half to death with a sand wedge. Well, that we could believe. So if you've got some lame idea, operators are standing by right now to Dr. Special O.J. Hearsay Alibi Line. 1-800-PERJURY. Friends, let's close out now with a little benediction. Juice, it's Dr. Harger's son. Say that you was out buying cigarettes or maybe a bag of ice. Anything's better than you was working on a slice. Somebody give me an amen here now.
Ezekiel 25. Imus in the morning. 2020 Sports. Knocked and bounced them along. Catching low left turns and fires.
The Imus in the Morning program, nationally syndicated gossip columnist Liz Smith. Good morning, Liz.
So much to dish, so little time. Reports from the left coast indicate that new evidence could be introduced in the O.J. Simpson case.
Really?
Apparently, the defense wants to show a videotape of Kathy Lee Gifford's rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner at the Super Bowl in an effort to prove that anybody could muster a desire to murder the wife of a former football great. No word yet from Judge Lance the Dragon Ito as to whether or not he will admit the videotape, as apparently he is a fan of Mrs. Gifford, although he does wish Regis Philbin would choke on one of those wheat cracker deals. There also seems to be a little rift in the wedded bliss over at the Tonight Show, as Branford Marsalis has officially left his post as band leader. Comparing his departure to breaking up with a girlfriend, Branford said he harbored no resentment. The split is amicable. He just found it too difficult to make it look like he really thought Jay Leno was funny. Apparently, plastering that phony grin on his mug for all those reaction cutaways during the nightly monologue was tiring him out so much he had no wind left to blow his horn. In New York, former Daryl Hannah squeeze, JFK Jr., snubbed former Prince of Wales squeeze Diana at a society function the other night. Evidently, Diana affected the slick look to attract the hunky litigator, but instead of resembling a mermaid, she ended up favoring a wet beagle. Guess Lady Di was unaware that John Johns had an aversion to drenched females ever since his uncle's unfortunate incident.
Shut up.
Speaking of unfortunate incidents, Mike Eisner was in the Apple recently to announce the premiere of Disney's upcoming summer blockbuster, Pocahontas. Delighted that the politically correct cartoon will debut in New York Central Park. Unfortunately, the fact that a film which stands to make the white man millions will bow on 13 acres of land that was stolen from Native Americans for $24 was an irony that seemed to escape him. Still, 100,000 white eyes in one open field at the same time could prove to be quite an opportunity for the indigenous peoples of North America. Don't be surprised if the Pocahontas premiere goes down in history as Eisner's last stand. Is that an arrow sticking out of your mousket ears, Mickey, or are you just happy to see me? 1, 2, 3,
4. Dial a mattress now.
Flashback.
Hello, this is the law office of Robert Shapiro, the famous attorney. Thank you for your call. If you would like the address where you can send a letter of support to O.J. Simpson, press 1 now. If you have an important lead regarding the O.J. Simpson case, press 2 now. If you are an expert in a field relating to the Simpson case, or have some idea about how we can explain away any portion of the mountain of evidence that points directly to O.J., especially that f***ing bloody glove, press 3 now. If you happen to be an O.J. Simpson look-alike and would like to pick up an easy 50, 60 G's, press 4 now. Following are additional O.J. Simpson case options. If you, as we, agree that the intimacy of the relationship between O.J. and A.C. Cowlings suggests A.C. should add the term D.C. to his name, press 6, followed by 9. If you think, after watching her in action, that being married to Marcia Clark would make you put a gun in your mouth, press Jesus now. If it's your opinion that Ms. Clark's David Gergen-esque sidekick, the goofball with the beard, thinks Roe versus Wade are river-crossing alternatives, press idiot now. If you fervently wish that the next door O.J. would knock on would be the one to Mick Jagger's dressing room, press 86. By pressing star 1, star 2, or star 3, please indicate your preference of who should play O.J. in made-for-TV movies. Wesley Snipes, James Earl Jones, or Tupac Shakur. A reminder for Mr. Shapiro. If you yourself are seeking legal representation or have just witnessed a possible whiplash auto accident, a fall in a bathtub, or similar actionable mishap, press 7, then 11 now. Thank you for your call.
A long, long time ago, I can still remember how that music used to make me smile. And I knew if I had my chance that I could make those people dance, and maybe they'd be happy for a while. But February made me shiver with every paper I deliver. Bad news on the doorstep. I couldn't take one more step. I can't remember if I cried when I read about his widowed bride. But something touched me deep inside the day the music died. Imus in the morning.
I'm holding.
Hey, Bubba, what are you watching?
The Super Bowl, baby. Just the most inarticulate buffoon on the planet.
You're at the airport, baby.
Oh, okay. And then we have these two morons, Fatso and Fruit Loops in the afternoon, Chris Russo and Mike Francesa, who are equally stupid. Yeah. And both talk at once. And while, you know, they have some basic working knowledge of sports, what's the point?
Can't hear him.
Their analysis of the, for example, Simpson trial is beyond juvenile.
Oh. Sounds like two sanitation workers discussing the case.
But occasionally something good happens here. And while this is not the greatest piece of production you'll ever hear in your life, and certainly not equal to some of the stuff that's on this program, they put this together last night, I guess as a response to the testimony yesterday in the O.J. Simpson trial. What's the kid's name who put it together?
Ryan Williams.
What?
Ryan Williams.
Ryan Williams. He's another fat kid who works at the radio station.
A lovely young man.
Yeah. And I thought it was good enough to play on this program.
Okay.
As an example that occasionally something happens that's fairly decent on some of these sports radio stations around the country, but not often.
Trojans out of the huddle. Southern Cal's ball on the SC 20-yard line. Soggy looks over the defense, gets that ball, pitches back to Simpson, running wide to the 20, the 25, the 30, breaks the lead, the 35. He may go all the way. He has the 45, the 50, the Ohio State 30, 25. Simpson all the way. An 80-yard run by O.J. Simpson. Tremendous run.
This is the law offices of Robert L. Shapiro. Thank you for your call. If you have any information or evidence regarding the O.J. Simpson case, press 2 now. If you are an expert in the field relating to the O.J. Simpson case and would like to offer your services, press 3 now.
I have a dream. I was interviewed by detectives and they asked me to take a lie detector test. And I replied, well, what did you say? And this is Mr. Schiff talking. And he kind of chuckled and he says, hey, to be truthful, Ron, man, I've had a lot of dreams about killing her.
I have a dream. Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Let's call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow start the same old thing again.
Well, it was at 4:30 this morning that I heard it, and obviously I was still asleep. So,
There you go.
I mean,
what'd you do, interrupt it then? Or?
No, but it was cute. I don't know. It sounded good at 4:30 this morning. Well, these things are difficult to do, and I just thought, Jesus, what are you thinking about? Well, I don't know.
What in the world? Prozac this morning? I understand with you.
Well, it was a pretty good effort, don't you think?
No, it was horrible.
It sucked, didn't it?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good, but it's not. It's just stupid.
Townsend and Rosehill to see him play?
More like 1,500, 1,700.
All right, good job, Dennis.
See ya.
Take care. Colgate beat Fordham last night, 85-69. My little plug for the Rams. Coming back after Thomas into the top. Don't go away.
Mike and the Mad Dog.
Magic Johnson? How's he doing?
He's doing fine.
How's his health?
That I don't know.
He's not looking like Manute Bowl or anything.
Yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to know.
I think he's pretty much status quo.
Oh, good, okay.
All right.
So.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Go to another strip
Great,
joint.
yeah.
They'll give your wife AIDS like you almost.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
I'm into the yacht race deal.
It doesn't get any better.
Why would I? I mean, you can't get me on a boat at gunpoint.
No, but it's fun to watch from a distance,
It is. They are fun, aren't
Yeah,
they?
it is. Too bad you weren't on the Achilles Laurel.
Get into a body bag.
Too bad I wasn't on the Achilles Laurel. Well, that's very nice.
In the morning on the fan, Voice Radio 66, WFAN.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good evening. At 5 o'clock, this is Joe Tollison.
So I'm watching a tube the other night and finally saw this Calvin Klein model, Kate Moss. And I think I speak for everybody in the room when I say, Jesus, have a sandwich. Holy Cuba. I know thin is in, but when did the Bosnia look become fashionable? Not too intimidating for the women of America, huh? Having to look like one of those Woolworth paintings of the street urchins with the big eyes? Why does Calvin Klein think that beauty incarnate is a 37-pound woman with no breasts? Well, I don't know. I must be in the minority. Because where it gives me the creeps to look at a picture of a naked 12-year-old hanging up the side of a bus, I know it gives you a boner.
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm the one who's taking the chicks out of the preschool. Well, now that the angel dust is cleared, I can finally put my thoughts together about the Kurt Cobain suicide. Smells like gunpowder. After much reflection about Nirvana's contribution to the cause and rock and roll's merciless penchant for eating its own young, all I can say is, good. Listening to that crap made me want to shoot myself. I'm really glad it finally got to that hairbag pan load. I'm telling you, a shotgun blast is probably a hell of a lot more aesthetically pleasing to the ear than the sound of the latest Nirvana album. Man, am I sick of these juvenile delinquents who pick up a guitar, 2 weeks later become millionaires, and then spend the rest of their 15 minutes whining about how much their life sucks. Yeah, what a nightmare. A case of Dom Perignon and 20 centerfold models lying prone in your hotel suite. Jesus, what a hell on earth. Give me a spike. I gotta shoot up to escape this depressing existence. Yeah, well, you couldn't be more depressed than I was watching Kurt Panloader on MTV hosting the Marathon Tribute Vigil like he was Cronkite during the Kennedy funeral.
Yeah, pretty weak.
Let's not get carried away, folks. This wasn't John Lennon here. It was Kurt Cobain.
Fine.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump right into the F word, but I was somewhat inspired by the widow Cobain, Courtney Love, who happens to be the leader of the band, quite appropriately named Hole. Hey, sweetie, don't take it so hard. The band was going to break up anyway. And I don't want to make you feel any worse, but I think you should know that if it were me married to you, I couldn't get the barrel in my mouth fast enough. But look at the bright side. This'll sure give your new album a leg up. Of course, it'll be a little tough trying to come up with something as catchy as Beck's big hit, which is something I might suggest to you, Fats, as a somewhat more fitting musical interlude than Delbert. I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me? Words to live by, Imus. Words to live by.
Long time ago, I can still remember how that music used to make me smile. And I knew if I had my chance that I could make those people dance, and maybe they'd be happy for a while. But February made me shiver with every paper I deliver. Bad news on the doorstep. I couldn't take one more step. I can't remember if I cried when I read about his widowed bride. But something touched me deep inside the day the music died. So bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this'll be the day that I die. that I died. Helter skelter in the summer swelter, the birds flew off with a fallout shelter. 8 miles high and falling fast. The land is foul on the grass. The players tried for a forward pass with the jester on the sideline in a cast. Now the halftime air was sweet perfume while the sergeants played a marching tune. We all got up to dance, oh, but we never got the chance. 'Cause the players tried to take the field, the marching band refused to yield. Do you recall what was revealed the day the music died? We started singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey to ride, singing this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. Oh, and there we were all in one place, a generation lost in space, with no time left to start again. So come on, Jack, be nimble, Jack, be quick. Jack Flash sat on a candlestick, 'cause fire is the devil's only friend. Oh, and as I watched him on the stage, my hands were clenched in fists of rage. No angel born in hell could break that Satan's spell. And as the flames climbed high into the night, until the light, the sacrificial rite, I saw Satan laughing with delight the day the music died. He was singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey to ride, singing this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. I met a girl who sang the blues, and I asked her for some happy news. She just smiled and turned away. I went down to the sacred store where I'd heard the music years before, but the man there said the music wouldn't play. In the streets the children screamed, the lovers cried and the poets dreamed, but not a word was spoken. The church bells all were broken, and the 3 men I admire most, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, they caught the last train for the coast the day the music died. And they were singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die. They were singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this'll be the day that I die.
Hello, everybody. Hi, all tonight. This is Alan Freed, the old king of the Moondoggers, and it's time again for another of your favorite rock and roll sessions as you enjoy
Imus in the morning.
Hey, Bubba, where you been?
In a meeting with William Perry.
That football refrigerator dude?
No, Beavis, the Secretary of Defense.
But wasn't that refrigerator dude on the fence?
That's another William Perry.
The dude who discovered the South Pole?
Jesus, Beavis, I'm talking about Bill Perry, the head of the military.
I'm not going to military school. I'm not going to military school. Relax, Beavis. You're not going to military school. I was meeting with them about these congressional investigators who said some icky things about the American fighting force.
Like what?
They claimed that our army was unprepared to fight 2 wars at once if necessary.
You thinking about starting 2 wars?
No, the one I'm fighting in Congress is more than enough for me, Beavis.
Why do you care about the military?
Every country needs a strong national defense. All able-bodied Americans should be willing to take up arms and fight for the cause of freedom.
You mean if there's a war, I'll have to fight?
Well, unless you're thinking about studying abroad.
Yeah, I want to study abroad. Let me see your thingies. I have a test tomorrow.
Beavis and Bubba here on the Imus Morning program, 6 minutes after the hour. Time for the national news now with my friend Charles McCoy.
Hey, Bubba, what's that you eating?
A copy of Dr. Martin Luther King's I Had a Dream speech, Beavis. This is Black History Month, you know.
I had a dream last night. These naked chicks were like rubbing their thingies up against me, and like when I woke up, I had a Woodrow.
That's not the kind of dream Dr. King was talking about, Beavis. He was talking about freedom for all races and colors.
I like my dream better.
Dr. King's dream was more of a fervent wish, Beavis.
Yeah, well, like I wish naked chicks would like rub their thingies up against me.
Everybody's entitled to their own dreams and wishes, and you know, Beavis, sometimes dreams come true.
Yes.
I dreamed that one day I would become president of the United States.
Yeah. And like O.J. dreamed that he killed his wife.
Well, just because he dreamt it doesn't mean he did it, Beavis.
Oh, yeah? How do you know?
Because I dream about killing my wife every night. This conversation never happened.
Get ready. It's morning time. From slave ship to championship. It's morning time. From the outhouse to the state house to the courthouse to the White House. It's morning time. Imus in the morning.
Step up to a great night's sleep and step...
Oh, it's 2020 sports.
Maybe it's because of
Ironic shut-in talking about it, like this example on WFAN in New York with one of their abrasive talk show hosts.
All righty, Russ Salzberg back with you here on a fan. Let's go to Manhattan. Don, you've got a basketball question.
This is really a stupid question, but in order for it to count as an assist, the guy he throws the ball to has to make it, right?
You dumb fool!
Only on sports radio. A jerk like that would ask a question like that. Yeah.
Well, I was a little confused.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I don't care about basketball.
No, don't have to care.
It's just, it's just, and I find it amusing.
Now, continuing his mission to regain political viability, here is the billionaire industrialist, founder of United We Stand, H. Ross Perot.
Got a new great sucking sound for you, Amos.
The Mexican bailout?
The ex-governor of Connecticut. I heard you talking with Lowell Wacker about what he's going to do now.
Oh, starting a new talk show.
Commit suicide is more what I had in mind.
Yeah.
At least as far as being a big-time politician is concerned. What in God's name is the point of Lowell Wacker going on the radio? You talk about a man out of sync with everything. He says he's going to offer a viewpoint to counter people like Rush Limbaugh. Was he in a coma or something last November 8th? Unless he does some kind of Limbaugh lip sync, he won't have any more listeners than Bill Clinton does. Amos, I'm just afraid your buddy Wacker's clogging on a bag of oil-dipped pony poo, and he's going down. It's just sad. Like this bailout situation.
Yeah.
Let's look at that for a minute. Get under President Zadillo Sarapi and see what smells, okay? Got a country right on our own border, poverty, disease, overpopulation, political instability, and an economy in chaos. Now, I'm asking you, can we possibly just turn our backs on them? You damn right we can. Who cares? I'm sleeping like Pedro's baby, Amos. I'm rich, got my health, and I'm a fill-in host on the Larry King Show. You might say I'm making a pretty big stink in some pretty tall cotton. And reading the political winds, I'm sick of worrying about the little guy. That's the kind of thinking that has us hemorrhaging entitlement programs, Amos. You know what the Mexicans got down there?
No.
Chickens, skinny dogs, and American jobs. I say, let natural market forces work and let them sink. Speaking of sinking, are you following the O.J. trial?
Sure.
Here's what Perot thinks. I think the next person O.J. Simpson murders is Carl Douglas. If he keeps on cross-examining prosecution witnesses, got a timeline chart for you. See this?
Yeah.
This here is where the prosecution started presenting its case.
Right.
This here is where defense attorney Douglas started cross-examining witnesses.
Right.
And this here, about 5 more minutes away, is where O.J. either takes the stiletto out of the envelope and sticks it in Douglas, or just jumps to his feet and hollers, guilty. I'm saying that he comes out of this better if the prosecution represents him. Final thought, Amos, real quick. NBC Nightly News is hiring Bill Moyers to do some sort of commentary on Tom Brokaw's show. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Just saying. About as many people want to hear from Bill Moyers at this point as want to hear from Lowell Weicker. Brokaw's been mud-stuck longer than a 2-ton steer in a 1-bunk whorehouse. And NBC thinks hiring some egghead from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting's the answer? Boy, the sperm count's sure down at the old National Broadcasting Company, ain't it, Amos?
Yeah.
The only way another insipid refrain from Bill Moyers is any help on that show is if he also hits Brokaw in the back of the head with a frying pan every time he gets hung up on some polysyllabic landmine. Wishing you nothing but R's and L's, Tom. I'm Ross Perot. And Amos, much obliged for having me on your show.
His ex-wife.
I watched this yesterday. I'm not interested in it now.
Why would you blow up?
Because I just thought it was laughable sitting there in front of F. Lee Balin. Did you see the look on F. Lee's face?
I know.
God, well, shut up and sit down. Before O.J. jumps up and says, I did it.
Just get him away.
I did it. Shut him up. I killed her. Let me out of here.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Ship denied, though, that he fabricated the dream story.
That's not why I'm doing this, Mr. Douglas. I will not have the blood of Nicole on Ron's ship.
Now, here's, if I'm not a lawyer,
Okay.
but if I'm a lawyer, I don't let him go on like that. God, I shut him up. I ask him something else.
Drop in there with a
What
question.
time is it? Nice suit. God, he reached the point where he was talking to O.J. I say shut up!
Imus in the morning.
If you don't have your own professional financial advisor...
To a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you are not aware of the caliber of disaster indicated by the presence of a liberal in the White House. Well, you got trouble. Right here I say trouble in the capital city. Why, sure, I'm opinionated. Mighty proud to say I said I'm mighty proud to say it. I consider that the words I speak and the truth they impart are golden. It's conservative horse sense. I got half my brain tied behind my back. Did you ever try and get a Democrat to debate and his platform folds up just like a tent? But just as I say it takes judgment, brains, and morality to lead this fine country of ours, I say that any fool can flush the whole thing down the toilet. And I call him Bill. The first false step on the road to the big White House there up on the hill, that liberal whine about health care from Hillary Rodham. And the next thing you know, your Bubba's saying he tried it, but he didn't inhale. And we're listening to Mrs. Big Town Lawyer telling 60 Minutes she don't think cookies. Not a housewife, Hillary, no, but a dame who don't know when to shut up. Like to see some feminazi babe sitting in the Oval Office? Make your blood boil? Well, I should say. Now, friends, let me tell you what I mean. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 years of liberal twaddle. This country needs something different than a promiscuous pantload pots with a capital P and that rhymes with B and that stands for Bill. And all day long, you liberal politicians are frittering away. I say these bureaucrats be frittering away. Your base pay, net pay, sick pay too. Gotta raise them taxes. Never mind getting deficits reduced till the immigrants curbed till the economy started. And never mind the military budget till the commies are here and they're camping in your parlor on a Saturday night, and that's trouble. Oh yes, you got lots and lots of trouble. I'm frightened for the kids in the grammar schools, innocent young ones, thinking one day of voting Democratic. Trouble! In the capital city, trouble with a capital T, and that rhymes with B, and that stands for Bill. Now, I know all you folks are my kind of people, so I'm gonna be perfectly clear. Would you like to know what kind of conversation goes down between the liberals in the House and the Senate? They talk about taxes, socialized programs, setting up welfare states for indigent thieves, and bragging all about how they got together and banned assault-type weapons. One fine day, they'll close the ghettos, sending all the gangs to the suburbs, drug-dealing punks, cop-killing homies, and hip-hop. Shameless music that'll drag your son and your daughter into the basis common denominator, interracial marriage. Friends, the idle brain is the liberals' trademark. Trouble. Oh, we got trouble. In the capital city. In the capital city. With a capital T, and that rhymes with B, and that stands for Bill. That stands for Bill. We've surely got trouble. We've surely got trouble. In the capital city. Right here. Our kids are being led by an immoral imbecile. Our children gonna have trouble. Mothers of America, heed that warning before it's too late. Watch for the telltale signs of corruption. The minute your son leaves the house, does he automatically become politically correct? Is there a stain on his shirt from a bleeding heart? A saxophone hidden in the corn crib? Is he dropping trowel at church socials in front of the ladies' auxiliary? Are certain words creeping into his vocabulary? Words like entitlement, and I feel your pain. Well, if so, my friends, you got trouble. Oh, we got trouble. In the capital city. With a capital C and that rhymes with B and that stands for Bill. We've surely got trouble. In the capital city. Right here. This Arkansas Hicks turning our fruity plain into Hooterville. Our children gotta have trouble. We got trouble. We got terrible, terrible trouble. He's spooning out lukewarm liberal pap, and I've had my fill. Oh, yes, we got trouble, trouble, trouble. Oh, yes, we got trouble. We got big, big trouble. You gotta rhyme with B. And that stands for Bill. Mega Littles, my friends. This is Rush Limbaugh with Helen Alone from God.
Rush Limbaugh here on the, I believe you just said that, on the imus in the morning program. It's 9 minutes till, did I mention that I love my wife? Did I tell you that?
Nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summit of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until that is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. Those who hoped that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. But that is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must fail to conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protests to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to a distrust of all white people. For many of our white voters, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny we cannot walk alone. As we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those who are asking the devotees of civil rights, when will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied